Welcome to the Business Finance Bulletin, episode 149. The latest Business Finance Bulletin with me, Rob Warlow from Business Loan Services, the commercial finance experts. In this bulletin, asset finance and bank lending, business confidence still high, and latest government action on late payment. Well, let's start this bulletin with our regular monthly look at what businesses are doing in terms of borrowing money from both the high street lenders and also alternative finance avenues. First of all, the asset finance industry. The latest statistics for quarter 3 2016 have just been released by the Asset-Based Finance Association. Now, that association is the umbrella organisation for alternative lenders who are into asset finance. Typical HP, for example, when you're borrowing for purchasing of plant and equipment and machinery, and also invoice discounting. Now, the latest figures from that association show that as at the end of quarter 3 2016, the total amount of money made available via asset-based lending stood at just over £4 billion. Now, that's a 22% increase on the same period in 2015. That's a massive jump, and it just shows how much high street lenders now are beginning to move away, and these alternative finance providers beginning to step in. Now, in total, another high has been reached that just over £20 billion is now outstanding from these asset-based finance providers. What's making up the bulk of it? Well, about 80% is coming from invoice discounting facilities. That is where you've got money tied up in your invoices and you can't afford to wait 60 or 90 days in order to get your money back. So with that sector really powering ahead. Let's turn now to the traditional high street lenders, the banks. What are they up to? Well, also the latest statistics have come out from the Bank of England as at October 2016. And again, it just shows there's some mixed messages coming out. But in total, as at the end of October 2016, bank lending increased by just over £3 billion to all businesses in the UK. And that translated to an increase overall growth rate of about 3.1%. And so, considering where we came from many years ago when we were having zero or negative growth, it's not bad. But that figure is all businesses. What about if we strip out small businesses? Well, as of October, the actual net amount of money currently outstanding to small businesses shrank by £200 million to about £163.3 billion in total outstanding. Now, that shrinkage is the first time for many months that we've actually seen small business lending contracting. So what's happened? Well, more businesses have paid back debt in that month than took out new loans. But there's still a positive growth rate. Total borrowing to small businesses on an annual basis has increased by 1.7%. So still some growth, but not as large as bigger businesses. So in total, you can see some good overall figures there, with banks and lenders still clearly supporting businesses, which is a good positive sign as we go into 2017. Let's turn now to a topic which business commentators are really focusing on a lot, and this is confidence levels amongst business owners. As you know, we're in a bit of a challenging time, and so everybody's wondering how strong and robust are small businesses in particular. Well, a latest report's just come out from Aldermore Bank, one of the new challenger banks, as part of their regular SME Future Attitudes report. And they've chatted to 1,000 business owners to check what confidence levels are like. Now, surprisingly, or perhaps unsurprisingly for some people, the report reveals that confidence levels still remain high. And in fact, 82% of those businesses surveyed said that they remain confident about their prospects going into 2017, where they're expecting either positive sales growth or just static, staying still. Now, of that figure, 39% of them said that they were expecting to see sales grow in 2017. So how are business owners going to achieve this growth? What are their plans? Well, 39% of them said they are planning to launch new products and services. So being really positive there, saying they want to design new products and services to meet gaps that they've seen amongst their client base. Also, 30% of them said they are planning to enter new markets. Like, I presume that's probably looking at exporting, getting out into Europe and the rest of the world to boost sales that way. So you can see some very good confidence signs there from business owners. Now, what about Brexit? That dreaded word. Well, again, surprisingly, 66% of business owners said that they felt that Brexit would have little or no impact on their sales and growth plans in 2017. So we can see lots of good, strong confidence figures amongst business owners as we go into 2017. In previous bulletins, I've been mentioning the UK government's desire to control the epidemic of late payments, mainly because of the impact it's having on growth where small businesses particularly are concerned. Now, I've mentioned previously that the government has been talking about bringing in new legislation. Well, finally, they've now started to put some meat on the bones. They've just come out with advance notice of rules and regulations that they're going to be bringing in with effect from the 1st of April 2017. And it's called the Duty to Report. So what they will be doing come 1st of April 2017, large businesses and limited liability partnerships will be expected to report twice a year with details on average time it is taking for them to pay their invoices. Also splitting down into periods of when they're paying within 30 days, when they're paying within 30 to 60 days, and how many invoices they are paying over 60 days. So we're going to start to see some lot of detail coming out, and more importantly, which of the bigger businesses are the worst late payers. So that's, this legislation has been a long time coming, and the government has said in early 2017 it'll be giving even more detail on the reporting that it will be requiring larger businesses to undertake. But also looking at late payments generally, it still is a big problem. A new survey coming out from short-term loan provider Amicus Commercial Finance has revealed that 38% of business owners said that they have suffered from late payment and cash flow problems over the last 2 years. And what's been the impact? Well, 41% of them said they have had to delay payment to their own suppliers. And 30% of them have said it's resulted in them being late in meeting their debt obligations. Also, the online payment provider Bax has also reported that they think that the average amount of late payment outstanding for many businesses is £32,185. So yes, over £32,000 on average that small businesses have owed to them. That's a lot of money that are sitting in other people's bank accounts and not your bank account. As you said about the way of tackling late payment, you do not be afraid to chase really hard and be clear upfront on what your terms and conditions are. Well, that's it for this bulletin, and as ever, if you did enjoy it, please give it a like or a share. If you're watching on the video version, don't forget we've got a podcast version available on iTunes, SoundCloud and Stitcher. All you have to do, go along to those channels and search for Business Finance Bulletin. And if you're listening to the podcast version, pop along to my YouTube channel. Go to YouTube and just search for Rob Warlow, and there you will find this bulletin, all other bulletins and other videos with tips and ideas on raising finance and dealing with banks. Well, that's it for this bulletin. Thanks so much for being with me. Look forward to being with you next time. Bye-bye now.